Hey everybody, welcome back to another War of the Visions video. Today we're going to be talking about the new 4 Vision cards that are coming out tomorrow and whether or not you should pull for them. So we're going to look at this from the perspective of free-to-play players and then also light spenders like myself. So if you weren't aware, I spend about $10 per month on the game, and I also spend $1 a day when a featured character comes out for 5 days on the daily purchase bonus. So I'm not spending a ton, but it does give me a little leg up on the free-to-play players. So before we talk about the cards, we'll quickly discuss a little bit about philosophy of pulling. So if you're saving Visi or if you're a free-to-play player, then I think for the most part Vision cards are not going to be something that you should be pulling for. And my rationale is that when you save a lot of Visior, you can semi-reliably pull a unit when they're featured, and you can put a lot of your Visior into shards, and those are going to be populating in the shop constantly because there's so many more slots for them to come up and they're featured. Whereas when you have a Vision card, it's just so much harder to max without pulling multiple copies, and then that is all of a sudden a lot harder to do than just pulling one unit. Now the exception to this is going to be when a Vision card has an Esper attached to it, like the two-headed dragon does in this banner. So in that case, you just need the one pull to get your value, which is a brand new Esper to use. But otherwise, I wouldn't pull for a Vision card unless the normal version of it is significant for you at the max level, and if it needs to get to more awakening levels, then it's probably not worth pulling for Vision cards if you are free to play or a light spender. Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, let's take a look at the actual Vision cards and see if any of them are worth pulling at their base state. So the first up is the UR two-headed dragon, and you're going to get dark attack up for the bestowed effect and damage limit up for the party ability. Now this seems kind of like a whale card because I'm not really in a situation where I'm going to have to put my damage limit up. Maybe in a raid in multiplayer that might happen, but it just seems like it's kind of out of my reach right now. And I also don't have a lot of dark attack units, so this is not going to be a great card for me, and I would assume that unless this dark attack is very important to you, this isn't going to be a great card for a lot of people. I think it's a niche card. I think it's really good at what it does, but it's just not something that you should be spending for. So the dark attack is going to go up to, I think, 5 at the max, and then you'll get some more dark attack from the awakening, so it can go to a total of 10, I think, once you get to max. But again, we're not thinking about maxing these anyway. The stats are going to be heavily skewed towards HP and attack. So I'll give you an idea with the max stats, and that will tell you what the distribution is. So you'll know if it's an attack-minded card or a magic-minded card, or if it's a card that kind of sacrifices stats for the Vision card effects. So this is going to get 300 HP, 180 attack, and 18 magic. So it's obviously a good attacking card as well as the effects that it has. So far, based on the card alone, this is a pass for me. Moving on to the Envious Magician. This is a card that is going to give you casting time reduced, and it will also put defense down on the bestowed unit. And then party ability is going to be magic up, which is certainly very nice. And this is another example of a card that is going to substitute for a UR card. So we already have a UR card that puts up magic, but you might not have access to it, so that makes this a really good substitute. This card is definitely magic skewed with the stats. You can get 242 HP, 46 attack, and 126 magic, so you're going to get a big magic stat from it. And the decrease activation time is okay. It can go up to 70 and then a further 30 with the awakening, and the increased magic can go up to 30% total once you get to max. So pretty significant, but again, we're not going to do that most likely. I do want to note with the casting time reduced that there's certain barriers where it doesn't make a difference, and you have to check what your skill's casting time is, and if you reduce the casting time by 100, then is that actually going to make a difference in your cast, because it's the matter of will it chop off a whole extra or one turn off of your cast time or not. So that's something to look into. There was a really good Reddit post about that. I'm not an expert on that, so Reddit's the place to go for that information. For this card, I really don't think we're going to be pulling for any of these as free to play or light spenders, but this is a very interesting card. Next up, we have the perks of having Charm, and you can see little Leela and Sosha are just giving Valade the hardest time in the background there. So you're going to get damage limit up on the bestowed, so this is the opposite of what the two-headed dragon was doing, and then Light Eater up for the party ability, which is a very interesting party effect. Now this card, in terms of stats, it's going to be attack minded. It's going to give you 95 attack, 42 magic, and 312 HP. So all of these have been decent stat vision cards so far when you get them to max, which is saying a lot. The Light Killer, I really like these killers and the slayers and all of that, because they're really fun to play with, especially on party abilities. It can help you tech against certain matchups, and there's certainly lots of light units out there, especially tanks, so this is a very cool card. And then finally we have Deceptive Vows, Honest Souls, which is just beautiful art, although Dario looks kind of weird there. He's got a little bit of a bigger nose. It kind of looks like a stand-in. Maybe she never got a portrait, so she got this taken with a stand-in after he passed, so she'd have something to remember him by. It's kind of weird. We all know what the hands touching and the circles representing now. That's kind of nice. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you didn't play the story yet. So this is going to give you slash attack up for the bestowed, and then evasion up for the party ability, which is significant if you don't have Shiva, which I don't. The slash attack up is good and bad, although I guess it's actually great in the bestowed effect slot, because that doesn't you don't have to worry about that stacking with the party effect slash up, or you have to worry about it not stacking, which can be sometimes be an issue with the party effects, is that there's all these good party effects, but they limit to which cards you can put on because they don't stack. So the slash attack, that's going to go well with all your ninjas, and it's going to go well with pretty much any, like if you have a tank in your evasion party, which I don't think you will, or if you have some sort of bruiser and then 2 evade units, and then this could be a great card to slot on them to get the bonus to everybody else. So it's a good card. It's a balanced card. It's going to have pretty even stats: 82 attack, 75 magic, 264 HP at max. So the evasion, it can go up to 10 at the max level of this card, and the slash attack can go up to 15 at the max level. So those are definitely significant stats, and it all adds up when you're putting a specific build together. So for the vision cards, I'm going to say this is definitely a pass, and I don't think I'm surprising anyone here. You're going to get all of these MR vision cards eventually anyway, and you're actually going to pull lots of dupes of them. Judging from how the MR vision cards have gone for me, it's not a problem to get more, and you will eventually max them with time and just be able to get them to usable levels. The only thing here that would have been significant is if this UR card was better, but now we're going to talk about the Esper and see how that comes into play. Alright, so let's take a look at the Esper. This is actually a pretty amazing Esper. It's got some really good stats. So it immediately is going to become the highest attack stat Esper in the game and global for us. And it's also going to have good stats in luck, as well as very good stats in AP given to your unit, and also in HP given to your unit. So those are all really solid stats that are highly sought after. So that's definitely a good Esper to equip for the stats on your unit. Now in terms of the skills, that's also going to be super important. It's actually quite interesting. We usually see Espers that have their evasion stats, and he has his 2 evasion squares, but he also has a bunch of accuracy squares, and I don't know that I've seen an Esper with this much accuracy on it. You can go up to a total 15 accuracy, which seems really awesome if you're trying to counter evasion builds. You're also going to get another 7, I'm counting it up as I go here, another 20 percent attack increase. You can also get some slash attack increase, some dark killer, and some pierce resistance. And then there's some other stuff like dragon killer and your evocation magic up and stuff like that. But between the evasion, accuracy, attack up, slash attack up, dark killer, pierce resistance, there's something for everyone there. There's multiple builds you can go with this. I really do see it as a damage increasing build, or damage increase paired with accuracy. So there's multiple ways to go. It just seems like a really solid Esper, and it's definitely one that if you don't have an Esper to replace it or to use instead of it, then yeah, you probably should be thinking about this one. Now, just to give you an idea, if you're looking for other attacking Espers, there are Espers with really high attack values. Ifrit is one of them. Golem actually has a surprisingly high attack value for a kind of a tanky Esper, and then Odin, of course, as well, is really good in that department. And there's actually some good options for luck, like Cactar is a good luck for an MR, I think, or whatever Cactar is. And then in terms of HP, there's actually a lot of like Ochu and Ifrit and Golem. They're all good for HP. So you're probably pretty covered in terms of these stats. But if you do want to go for a pure like attack raising Esper, then this is going to be the best one on the market for a little while. So that is pretty exciting. Okay, so final verdict. I'm going to say this is a skip for me, because I just don't think it's wise to be spending Vizier to chase one Esper, and I kind of was thinking about that earlier with the Death Machine, and that's a little different, just because I don't have a tank Esper yet. So I am interested in Death Machine, although I don't think ultimately I'm going to pull. FF4 being announced, obviously on the Mystidia post, that's got me thrown through a loop. I don't know what I'm going to do. I kind of want to save up the maximum amount of Vizier and just spend it all there. But I think that this is a really dangerous slope to go down, just because if you don't get the Esper, you really might not come out with much after that. But of course, we do need to actually look at the banners, see what the rates are, see what's featured, see what units come up, etc. So there's more decisions to make. I just wanted to give you some extra information to help you make that decision. So with that, we're going to get out of here, and I appreciate you watching the video. Sound off in the comments below and let me know what you think about these vision cards. If you're going to do any pulls, if you're a big two-headed dragon fan, then by all means let me know and we'll discuss. And if you don't mind, throw me a like and a sub and all that fun stuff. I don't always ask, but I'm so close to 1,000 now that I'm just getting real giddy. So let's try and get that done, and thank you for your service. All right, until next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can show your support with a like and subscribe, and by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/MysidiaGaming. Until next time, keep it real, Mysidians.